And we're live, and got to play this.
It's our background. It's our theme music.
I wasn't going to monetize this video, so if ads pop up on it at any point, it's probably Europe monetizing it. Worth every penny. This is the theme song for the evening. Welcome, everyone. We've got some of the Operation Recall team here. Carson, the mastermind behind it, and you hear it all the time, so listen to it again. The legendary Ron Rudat. Such an honor. I'm talking to Leatherneck. This is unbelievable. But thanks, guys, for joining. We're doing the final countdown for Operation Recall, and we got a lot of people in the chat here. So let's do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having us, Michael. Everybody out there, I've known Michael for many years, and he's just a very positive, awesome, optimistic guy, and I thought it would be a lot of fun to get on the line with him for the last hour. Of course, I twisted Ron's arm into joining us again, and hopefully Mark Pennington will be joining us as well. It looks like there's Mark right on cue. I literally said his name, and he popped up like the genie. Yeah. So
I think it's time you started calling me Mike. I think we've known each other long enough.
Nice.
You call me Mike, and I'll call you Carr.
All right, sounds good, man. Sounds good.
Mark is setting up there. I don't know where to start with the comments there in the chat. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much for joining us and watching along. I can't hit them all. Sorry. Mr. Pennington, big honor to meet you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So, the general premise of a Kickstarter countdown video is occasionally you check in on how the funding's going and you talk about how the project went. And I've got to say, man, if we didn't raise another penny for the rest of this hour, I'm thrilled. I cannot believe how today has gone. Mark, have you had a chance to look at it?
Oh, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, thanck you. It's fantastic.
Woo! I'll bring
it up here. I mean, this is Canadian funds.
So that's the Canadian translation of $382,908.
Holy smoke!
So we are almost at the precipice of unlocking Alyosha, or Johnny Russell, as a lot of you guys know him, Chicken Fried Toys. He submitted a really cool concept. Ukrainian, basically a Russian kind of rebel, an ex-rebel from the Russian army that is a freedom fighter now, named Night Raid, and he's got a dog named Ozzy. And so we're getting ready to unlock Night Raid and Ozzy. We already unlocked the Unknown, which is the African jungle troopers, Mark, that are going to have the scarification on the arms. Yep. And then earlier in the day, we unlocked Bengal, who's the Indian sniper that you're going to work on, Ron. So we've been killing it today. It is incredible.
Nice.
And we've got Lilith's concept creator in the chat here.
Yes, sir.
Joining us, Ian.
Oh, Ron, you don't have anything sitting on your table that you could show Ian, do you?
Like what?
Not to put you on the spot, but you were working on Lilith, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. Anyway, Ron, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. You don't have to show anything if you're not ready. Just Ian, no, it's coming, brother. Like, he's working on it. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. All right, so this is our airborne paratrooper female named Lilith. She's got kind of a pixie red haircut. She's got a scar over her eye that comes down her face. And Ron's got her with the nice hairdo there. I like the spiky hair, Ron.
That's one.
Very cool.
I'm still
Other one?
Oh, yeah. I hope we can actually strap the rifle to her like that, or in some way attach it to the chest. I always wanted that to be a feature with ripcord.
Yeah, or Crazy Legs.
Yeah, or Crazy Legs. Crazy Legs, I was able to actually like tuck it into his harness because there seemed to be extra room there. But that's awesome. So you guys are seeing this for the first time, as I'm seeing it for the first time, and that's been a lot of the fun for the last several weeks. Is Ron and Mark sending me drawings. So
I like what Mark does. He does everything in black and white.
He's an inker, right? Mark, even when you're ideating in ink.
Well, it's just easy. I don't know. I can see it a little easier, I think, in my old age.
Yeah.
And then it helps me simplify stuff too, I think, instead of getting too wrapped up in details. Because at this stage, I don't want to get wrapped up in the details. So I need to, just use chunky tools so that I don't get caught.
I've noticed that candidly, you use a lot of like big brush strokes or big fat markers with fat
Or
tips.
I use the side of my brush or the side of the marker or whatever. Yeah. It's just it's for speed. That's all it is just trying to fill in blacks real fast. And I like how it looks because it looks kind of choppy and vague, and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's just kind of techniques that I've developed over years and years and years of doing this. So,
yep. Well, I am absolutely enjoying it. It's been a thrill to watch both of you guys work, and I'm still just kind of blown away that this is my reality, that this is what I get to do with a good portion of my time. The Kickstarter has been incredibly time consuming, trying to keep the video and animation business going, but at the same time, it's like I'd rather work on this. So, it's a delicate balance, but we'll see how it goes. Let me see. If you want me to, Michael, Mike, I'll call you Mike. I can pull up really quick the last 9 drawings that I got from Mark. This is in relation to our big bad. This is the last guy from the line for year 1.
Sure.
So let's see, share screen.
There's a question here from Christopher. Is Bill Merklin sculpting all the figures? Got you.
Yes, he is. And if he is... Let's see, I'm going to go with screen 1 over here. If Bill Merkline feels like it's too many figures, we've got a guy on speed dial that he's already introduced me to that also did sculpting. So the short answer for that is yes. Yes, but, right? So let's see. All right, are you guys seeing the drawings now?
No, I do.
Yep, we see them. Okay,
sweet. So this is just a few examples of some of the work that Mark sent me yesterday. And this is for General Mortefero, the big bad guy. And it is just amazing stuff to look at. There's, he's making me and Kirk's job harder because what we're going to have to do is go in here and decide, okay, which things do we want to actually commit to? Because you can only sculpt one of them. You can only finalize one of them. You're going to pick and choose different pieces from each illustration. It's always an amount. What's that? Do you get a vote? Let's ask you, Mark, because we want it to be very authentic to how it was back in the day. Did you get a vote back in the day?
No.
Okay, there's your answer. So I will say Kirk has not changed a bit, and even if you do like 6 color studies, he's probably going to pull little pieces of it and have you do a 7th. So, isn't that what happened with Rotello, Ron?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But to be fair, when I got the color study back, and now that we have the Paint Master, like literally everybody loves this figure. Everybody loves this color deco. And so, there's a method to the madness. Like somewhere along the line, the combination of all y'all's talents really does result in beautiful figures. So, sorry. I'll hold it.
There we go.
Yeah, no problem at all. So this is the Rotello Paint Master. This is actually on a resin. So this is a copy of the original Bill Merkline sculpt. So this is another resin before it's been painted. This is a Paint Master that's been painted on a resin.
That'll look good with classified.
The Bill Merkline sculpt is on that original kind of blue buck, and then the gray, it's plumber seal epoxy is what he uses for his sculpting material. Mm-hmm. That's what he adds on top of the armature to make the custom sculpt. So it's all done by hand. It's all got the perfect imperfections of things being done by humans and not machines. It's not, 3D designed, 3D rendered, 3D printed. So it's got a lot of humanity to it.
Okay.
So, Mark, anything you want to say about your kind of ideation process and how it's been going over the last 5 weeks? You've done 4 or 5 characters already.
Yeah, it's going really well. It's fun. It's kind of it's weird how it's just kind of popped right back in, No problem. But I've been drawing a lot lately and doing a lot of my own characters and things. Like I'm doing an art book, so I've been making up a lot of characters recently.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of a natural flow to kind of just pop into that, and plus it's fun. I mean, you know, going over the stuff with the kids, and
Yeah.
you know, like I said before, I can't complain about what I do. So as long as I get to do artwork, it's a blast for me. So this is fantastic.
Awesome. Just to let everybody know that wants to see Ron and Mark's work, their ideation, all the steps that it takes to get to the final figure, we're going to be scanning all the process drawings, all the sketches that they do, and then the revised line art, the color studies, the presentation artwork, which is a more refined marker drawing or painting, and then, of course, the Doug Hart painting. We're going to document all that in the book. And so if you're interested in the pre-production part of the process, make sure you add on the book to your figure order, so you'll see that documentation. Just in the process of making Ritello, I filmed 40 hours with these guys, and that's going to be a documentary in and of itself, just the creation of Ritello. I'm going to go down and shoot with Mark because I haven't shot with him yet, so I'll add some of that footage in there, and I'll have to figure out story-wise how that fits, because it's not at the actual making of Ritello. That's a making of a different figure, obviously, but we'll figure out how to work that in there, and that'll be the Blu-ray. So if you're interested in seeing how these guys work, hanging out with them at Ron's desk in his studio right there, you're not going to get a more intimate chance to hang out with them than this kind of documentary footage. A lot of it that Ron's son shot for me, Tristan. So, sorry,
nice.
Jim.
That's
Sorry
on
for
Joe
killing your
Mine for
wallet,
his
Jim.
YouTube. I think it's so cool that you're documenting all of this too. I mean, there's so many G.I. Joe fans who seek out how it was done. When you really love something, you want to watch the behind the scenes, the documentaries, the interviews, the director's commentary, and we scrape, and 3D Joe's provides a huge amount of that with the artwork and the behind the scenes info. But what you're doing here for me is you've caught lightning in a bottle again, and we're getting to relive Real American Hero, the first year, the early years. And instead of just being fans like we were back in the day, we're actually seeing it produced and getting the behind the scenes stuff, and even being able to talk with the creators today and on other podcasts and channels that you've done. That is a huge itch being scratched for me, to be able to actually see the behind the scenes of how this stuff is done, shaped, honed to where it is, rather than 40 years later talking about, yeah, you know, when I made this guy right here, we had to make concessions here and there, and you know, foggy memory. How can you remember him? Look at all
Foggy
the figures
memory.
here on the
Yeah.
shelf. I don't know how you can, like Mr. Rudat, when someone asks you about that particular figure, like, you know, how you don't have a vivid memory from 40 years ago. So this is like, well, yeah, I worked on that 3 days ago.
Well, I was telling Mark I'm going to come talk to him and Ron when they're done with all of these figures. So there's 16 figures for waves 1 through 4, right? There's Ritello, that's the opening bonus figure, and Midnight Ops Ritello, that's the midway bonus figure. And so really there's 16 unique wave 1 through 4 figures, plus there's Ritello, and then plus there's the big bad guy who's the final figure that will unlock at 480. So there's a total of 18 figures here. They're going to be doing a lot of work over the next, 6 months on these, and they already are doing a lot of work on these. So I'm not going to, come hit them with the cameras and the interviews and stuff too soon. We're going to get through the work first. But then when we get done with that, I'm going to come, we're going to sit down, we're going to have a postmortem, and we're going to talk about each of the figures. And that'll be included in little, sound bites on the DVD more than likely, but definitely in the book. Along with seeing the process of each character, you'll hear some of their stories from how it went over the next 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Neil is asking if anyone in the chat designed a figure. We heard from Ian earlier, who designed the paratrooper Lilith.
Yep.
And some of them probably won't be in the chat because they're, what is the YouTube thing now? You got to be 13. I think it's so cool that some of the figures were designed by like a 10 or an 11-year-old.
There's a 10-year-old.
One of my favorite figures was designed by a little kid, which I think is just so right. Awesome. It brings it back to the roots of
that's my favorite part.
Yep. Mark, I wish you could have been there for the panel at JoeFest when it was when it was revealed. I literally got chills. My hair stood up on my arms. It was amazing to have that moment. It like one of the guys' dads was literally in the back tearing up and filming it.
Well,
you know,
yeah.
so like you guys are making lifelong memories for these people right now. If they're a kid or an adult, it doesn't matter. The fact that you guys are working on their stuff and going to turn it into real figures, that's a lifelong, experience. Top 5 experience for them, I'm sure, unless they have more than 5 kids, I hope.
And I grew up playing with Joe's too, so it's a lifelong dream of mine too to get to design them, to get to work on it. That's I know how they feel.
I just wanted to say thanks for the super chat here, Dave. I was going to turn super chats off tonight and I forgot, so I'll make good use of it.
David's a powerhouse, man. He's the guy that submitted the Luchador Soldier as well as the enemy commander. So he's awesome.
So I think the big question is, when's the 6-inch Operation Recall series? I'm kidding.
Ron and Mark, how do you guys feel about designing for the more modern 6-inch figure aesthetic? It's super detailed, highly articulate. What are your thoughts on that? Do you just want to stick to O-ring for a while, or do you want to take a swing at 6-inch?
I'd love to take a swing at it.
I've opened up a can of worms here.
What do you think, Ron? How do you feel about that hyper detailed 6-inch scale?
Well, I think hyper detail would be really, really cool. That's kind of what I wanted to do with the 3 3/4-inch figures.
All right.
We were always trying to squeeze as much stuff in anyway.
Yeah.
And then you have limits because you got to think about reduction. Like in comics, you do the pages, up 33% up bigger, and you have to worry about reduction. Well, in the old days, now you don't have to because of all the great scanning. But doing those those molds back then, you had to be careful. You couldn't do certain patterns and things like that. So it would be cool.
A lot of y'all's designs, I've seen opportunities for soft goods, and I was always a big fan for soft goods like Dusty's. Ron, what do you call the fabric that Dusty wears behind his helmet?
It's called a Havelock.
His Havelock, right? So Dusty's Havelock, or Baroness's plastic hair, or Dr. Mindbender's cape. I want to do things like that. I always thought those figures stuck out as like next level cool, just because they featured.
It's a Civil War thing.
Yep.
American Civil War, so you wouldn't get the back of your neck burned.
There he goes. So hopefully we can incorporate some stuff like that. Like when I look at this enemy commander, let's see if I can we switch back to that, Michael, real quick?
Sure.
This guy right here, I think he speaks to what Mark was saying about the big black chunky markers where he's doing large strokes and kind of chunking it in. But I love this aesthetic for this guy, kind of the creepy Hannibal Lecter with the shoulder pads. But that
kind of reminds
you
me
got to do soft goods for that guy. You have to do a cape for that guy.
Kind of reminds me of the villain, or one of the villains from Willow, the guy who wore the skull mask.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that one in decades.
What his name was.
But yeah, I really like the face paint here, kind of like the football eye black wax that they put on their face to black everything out, as if underneath his mask he's still going to conceal his identity type thing.
It's like the Punisher's night paint.
Yeah.
Well, that's what everyone's thinking, but I was thinking that would actually be his look.
Yeah.
And no helmet.
No helmet at all, just face paint. Just face paint.
Yeah, but I mean that under the helmet's cool too.
Yeah.
But I mean, initially, as I was drawing it, I'm like, oh, he might look kind of cool with just that on his face without a helmet.
Were you going for a Spanish flair on this one?
I have no idea. I did that other chunkier one, and I didn't really like it, so I lightboxed the same look, and then I was just, I don't know. I started doing those swords, and then I get off on tangents, so probably.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a way to do this, and I'm like, oh, you could do that whole, those shoulder pads, the helmet, and the neck piece all in one piece, and it would just slide down over his head.
Yeah. Yep. Just got to make sure that thing
So it
will
doesn't have
rotate
to be
under there.
sculpted, so it's a separate piece. The whole thing's a separate piece. Just pops
Yeah,
on its head.
Yeah, I see that. The shoulder pads and the neck piece extrusion there.
He wouldn't be able
Yeah.
to raise his arms, but
It's cool stuff, man. I'm enjoying it. So I can't believe that this is kind of something I get to enjoy going forward for the next several months. So
And congratulations, you just hit $500,000 Canadian.
that's a milestone. Guys, I think at the beginning of the day we were closer to 800 and something backers. So we've picked up hundreds of backers today,
really?
and
Well,
we've unlocked
1,145.
I mean, it's absolutely go time. I think everybody's feeling the heat of like, okay, I got to get in. This thing's over at 9 o'clock, and they're just jumping in like crazy. It's been amazing.
35 minutes to go.
Yep.
How much time left?
35 minutes.
Oh.
Mhm. So Ron and Mark, I've already told you guys. Oh, we got some new stuff, huh?
There he goes.
Let me go solo layout here. My here we go.
There we go. Got it, Mark. Yep.
Let's see.
And now is that the same slick back hair that the other guy had underneath? That
Well, I
you
was
can see in
thinking
the
of
back?
that as padding.
Oh, padding. Okay.
I don't know. Again, just kind of, I like just goofing off and throwing things out there.
Yep.
That's so old school because I remember seeing details on the Joes and thinking it was one thing and then finding out later, like the brains on the which Viper was
Range
it?
Viper.
Range
Yes.
Viper, and it wasn't actually brains.
I guess it was a cooling. It was a cooling feature of some sort. I think it was
Yeah.
water cooled, maybe. But
The
it
great
did look
thing
like an open skull.
The great thing about it is that it, like your creativity, inspires our creativity. I mean, there's the creator's opinion, but one thing I never listen to is when a movie raises a question and they ask the director, well, what did you mean? And the director goes, well, this is the answer. Don't listen to that. I mean, you're allowed to have your own interpretation. So it's okay to get the figure. And, you know, I mean, this is going to be hard because Larry Hama's writing the file cards.
Well,
So I'll be taking that. But you're free to kind of have your own interpretation and character.
Absolutely.
Frank Frazetta, when he created artwork, he would leave certain things vague, and your brain would fill it in. And that's the fun part, especially about these Joes like you were talking about. You're not sure what this is, and then you get to kind of tell the story a little bit, and it becomes part of you, you know.
Yep. To me, I think that's the difference between books and movies, right? Movies fill in all the details. There's no kind of mystery. And with books, you cast the voiceover actors. You decide what their voices sound like. You decide what the sets sound like. Like there's so much more that you fill in the blanks with. Anytime we can. 390. There it goes. Okay.
Thanks for the update, Mike.
So Ron, we're coming full circle here because Johnny Russell just made a toy of you. Right?
I saw that.
Yeah,
Chicken Fried Toys. He just made a toy of you, and now you're going to be making a toy of his. And I believe he brought the pre-production run as well, so he could have your work as a memento of the project. So,
Well, at the last JoeFest, I went over to his table and I was looking at the cavalry figures and everything. And I'm very much into the cavalry and watching the movies and stuff like that. And there's one character I like very much that is active with the John Wayne and this Victor McLaughlin. And he plays the first sergeant in like Rio Grande, you know?
Mhm.
And I said, hey, that's the guy I want to be. I want to be that first sergeant. And he said, yeah, sure. So I sent him a photograph of myself, both sides of my face and front. And we went from there.
I thought he did a great job with the likeness. It captures your kind of jovial spirit, you know?
Yeah.
It's not a grumpy Ron. It's a jovial Ron, I think.
Yeah. We'll see what it looks like at the end.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Ryan would like to say thank you. Big thank you to Carson, Ron, and Mark. Today I got to speak to my heroes. Thank you again for making my childhood amazing. And thank you, Ryan, for the super chat. Mr. Rudat and Pennington, what's it like basically being like rock stars to the toy community? I mean, you couldn't have imagined when you got into this gig as artists that someday, because the deal always with artists is they'll appreciate you when you're dead, right? But you're basically celebrities in these types of things, live streams, and you walk into JoeFest or any convention, you're a celebrity. So how's that been?
It's disappointing because the groupies are all men.
Yeah.
I hope everyone knows that I'm joking, of course.
Was that your wife slapping the phone?
Yeah, of course.
Shut up, Mark.
You're an idiot.
I don't think about it much at all. I mean, people come up to me and thank me all the time, and I just, I want to be like one of the guys. That's all, and that's all I care about, and at night I at a show, I'll go out and I'll talk with them and everything else, and I don't feel like I'm better than they are, so I'm just one of the guys.
Thanks for the reality check.
You see Ron at the shows, and that's very much his persona. He's hanging out, man. He's at the bar with everybody. He's outside smoking a cigarette with everybody. He's at his table shooting the breeze with people. There's no egos here. I had somebody ask me candidly, he was like, so you're working with all these legends, you're making new toys, but like, have you had any prima donna moments where anybody's just gone off on you? I'm like, no, not at all. They're all awesome. Like,
they're just happy to get out of the basement because that's where they usually spend most of their lives.
So, now that you mentioned that, there was a guy in the basement. Remember the mystery basement guy that we talked about, Mark?
Yes.
Do you have any clues that you could give to Ron where maybe we could figure out for the book who the heck is the guy in the basement that designed Half the Battlefield?
I think Dan knows. I think Dan chased him down, and I'm pretty sure Dan knows the guy's name.
All right, Dan, if you're listening, I need you to fill in that blank for me. Who was the basement dwelling guy that was only there for like 6 weeks but did like 12 figures?
There was a whole bunch of people there. And there may have been 2 guys that did figures because I know there was another illustrator down there. And at the time, I was only in my 20s. So I considered him an older gentleman, but he was probably only in his 40s.
Right.
The other kid, that one kid, I think did the majority of it, just got out of college. And then the other guy was a really good illustrator, as far as Disney stuff and things like that. And he may have had something to do with a figure or 2. I don't know. Like I said, they were down there, and I'd go down and visit and talk to them, and then all of a sudden they were gone. So
yeah. so Ron was still there. Ron was still there. He was just working on other brands at this time. Ron, do you remember any basement dwelling designers that were only there for a few weeks or months?
No, not really. Well, I was in the A&P building, which is now corporate building, and there was a downstairs, and Greg Bernstein worked down there for a while.
Yeah, but he was a long timer.
Ron, this was right after I got there. Hasbro was making so much money because you and I were just right next to each other. This was in the old building, the brick building, and it was right after maybe a month or 2 after I got there, and then they hired these guys, and then they were gone.
Yeah.
But like I said, they were in the basement.
I was never in the basement of Hasbro, so I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, it's a mystery. I'll follow up with Dan on that. It's kind of one of those funny things. One of the things I really want to do with the book is properly attribute each creator on each figure page, and also properly attribute each package painter on each figure page. So I want to get the figure designer and the package painter right. It's a big goal. I might not get there with 100 degrees certainty, but I did sit down with Doug Hart from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. one day for 8 hours. I sat there with Doug Hart and went through every package in the books, in the previous book series, and tried to nail down who painted what. So now I'm trying to do that with the figure designers, but we'll see. Hopefully I get there. I got to go to press this fall, so I'm running out of time.
Man, thank you for doing that, because no one else, it's been 40 years, no one else has done it, will do it, and, you know, just thank you. Thank you for doing that, because it's so, I mean, really, I didn't even know who did all the paintings until we had our first chat years ago, and you mentioned Hector Garrido, and I'm like, Hector Garrido, I'm kind of ashamed of myself that I don't know his name, because I love his art and is inspired by his art so much.
It was a different era. You know, they weren't allowed to sign the packages. His name wasn't on anything. How could you know? You know, and so
either.
Yeah.
You know, none of the people in the design area never got to meet Hector.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Matt. That book is I'm so excited for the giant hardcover collecting the art of G.I. Joe. As a huge G.I. Joe fan, as you might have been able to guess. Oops.
It's gonna be an unreal artifact, man. I think it's at least 15 pounds. You can see the size of it. That's it right there, compared to the previous version, right there.
I would call that book just as important to my collection as Duke and 85 Snake Eyes.
Nice.
I mean, it's part of it. The art is part of it.
That's high praise.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know why it hadn't been done before, and I don't know why this type of Operation Recall thing hasn't been done before. You know, I just kind of have ideas of things that I would like to see come into reality, and I work hard to try to make them happen. And good God, man, look at it. We're knocking on the doorstep of $400,000 here. We've almost funded 14 of the 19 figures, or we just funded the 14th figure. I believe Night Raid was 14. So we've got 4 more figures to go. And the 5th one's a bonus. Literally, all we have to do is fund 4 more figures. So for people that are out there that are like, well, should I go all in? Am I going to get all the figures? Number one, we're going to continue funding through Backer Kit. When the Kickstarter ends, we're moving this party right over to Backer Kit. And we've got another 9 months to continue to raise money. And for 2, I'm going to honor the Backer Kit, or I'm going to honor the Kickstarter pricing. So if you go in at all in and you lock in like double all in, you get that $19.75. Every figure you add on in the Backer Kit is going to be that lower price, right? So if you're one of those folks that are, you know, just signing up for one figure for $30, and then you come in and you want to add on a couple figures just as add-ons, they're all going to be $30. Now you could change your pledge to an all-in and get that lower pricing. So you just have to commit, you know?
It's very generous, man. It's very generous.
So, well, dude, I just want to be fair with it. Like, I want the Kickstarter backers to feel like they got a good value, and I also don't want to turn off people that just didn't have the money right now because, you know, they're backing for 5 HISS tanks or something. So,
I appreciate that you're doing that. I did a talk on my channel a while ago called "The Right Direction," and how a lot of the decisions I make in my life aren't necessarily because I read good advice or watched someone do something and wanted to follow them. I actually sometimes look at what people are doing that I think is, you know, that I don't want to do, and I go, I'll go the other way. And I think that's what you're doing here. You're a lot, maybe not intentionally, but a lot of what you're doing, I think to myself, that's the opposite of what I've seen done, and really irked me. So I just appreciate the way you've handled this. It doesn't seem like a money grubbing venture. It just seems like it's born out of creativity and fun and appreciation.
Thank you. You know, candidly speaking, for anybody that thinks we're making money yet, go to the end of the story in the Kickstarter page and see what the manufacturing is actually going to cost. It's not going to cost $30,000 per figure. It's going to be closer to 50. But what I've asked the community to do is raise about 60% of it, and I'm going to be on the hook for the rest. So it's a crazy proposition. It's a huge gamble on my behalf. But what are we here for in life other than to follow our intuition and gamble on things that we love and invest our time in things that we believe in, you know? So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to make my 40s about still busting my butt and working as hard as I can, but more on things that I want to do and that I love, and less on banker training videos, right? Compliance videos, that kind of stuff that I do day in and day out. So I'll quit boring you guys. Let's talk to the artist.
Did somebody just ask me about stuff?
My pleasure, man.
Oh yeah. Hey, Mike, can you pull up Mark full screen? Let's have a look at the studio.
That's what's on my paintings. My Stereo Studio.
Yep.
Wow.
Let's see. All right. Oh, okay.
All right, so we're in your studio space.
Yeah, I can't.
There you go.
Naked lady. Oh, it's probably hard to see any of this stuff in here. Anyway, nice video.
Yeah,
Beautiful,
I
man.
like junk.
Mark's been doing some great work. Some great client work.
So
I got
Mark-
a couple more heads done.
Mark, where can people go to see more of your painted artwork?
Mark, I think it's markanthonypennington.com
Okay.
or markpenningtonart.com. If you go to my Facebook page, it's on there, links to my website, or just Google Mark Pennington, my website will pop up.
Yeah. And obviously, like the people that are here, you guys are action figure people. And so if you haven't been to 3djoes.com/Mark Pennington, that's a place to start and just see what Mark did on the line for 1986, 87, 88, making figures for 87, 88, 89. And there's links at the bottom of his profile to view some of his fine artwork as well. Mark went on to be a comic book illustrator, award-winning inker, and fine artist, obviously, as he was just showing you. So, yeah, tremendous amount of talent in this virtual room right here. So it's an honor, and I'm humbled to be able to wrangle these guys, and that they took a leap of faith with me.
Well,
And mine
he's a
all started with playing with G.I. Joes, watching Tarzan movies.
Yep. Yeah, I love that you had the childhood G.I. Joe experience.
Yep.
Not everybody that worked on the brand had that kind of childhood primal love for it. So I'm sure that was
Well,
fun.
one of my funny stories, I think I even told this in my interview, was I couldn't wait to. My G.I. Joes, I played with them so hard, I kind of destroyed them. So every few months I needed a new one. So my cousins and we did things to them. But anyway, one birthday, I got enough birthday money. I was in second or third grade. And so a new Joe in the box was $2 or $1.98. I can't even remember. But my mother took me in. I got my new Joe. And I will tell the people at Hasbro, I'm like, immediately threw everything away except for the knife. Then I took a magic marker and drew long hair down the back of my G.I. Joe and made him Tarzan.
I love it.
But of course, when I got older, I put all the stuff back on.
Right. I wouldn't accidentally damage mine, but if I ever broke one, then I would definitely break it further, like melt it and put ketchup on it, maybe drive a nail through it,
Well,
I didn't
maybe
torture the
wounded
ones
guys on the battlefield and stuff like
Yeah.
that, because we'd make little dioramas and stuff like that.
Right.
Right. Those guys would be dead.
I don't know about you, but I had a ton of time to kill as a kid. We grew up on 20 plus acres, and I had 2 siblings, but I was the youngest, and I kind of wanted them to leave me alone anyway. So I would wander off with my toys and set up my little stories. And we had a little creek on our land, and Crocmaster had come out, which actually both of you guys touched on. And I would have Crocmaster eat Joes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They would come across that path, and not all of them would make it through.
So that's what's wrong with you.
It shares some insight into my mentality, I think. So
Animals got to eat too. We're about 15 minutes away, about 3,000 away from 400,000.
I gotta say,
One of the biggest
guys,
Kickstarters I've ever seen.
I gotta tell you guys, Ron and Mark, we just hit a milestone personally for me. This is bigger than the book now. So the book, I could not believe how well. Yeah. Funding wise, and I mean, when you add all the figures up and stack them on top of each other, I think they're still going to be bigger than the book. I don't think they'll be heavier than the book, but regardless, I thought the book was an amazingly successful project, and it was. But that funded at $393. We just surpassed the book, So good Lord, man. I mean, I know you guys. Okay, let's be honest. Here's honest question time. When this crazy kid came to you and said, "Do you guys want to make a new action figure line?" What percent of your brain was like, "This is insane, it'll never happen," and what percent was like, "Yeah, this guy can get it done"? You could be honest.
To be honest, I thought you could get it done with your personality and your business sense and everything else. I know you can get it done.
Yeah, well, after all the work you've done on 3D Joes, I didn't have any doubts.
Man,
that's a lot of work.
I totally set myself up. I thought you guys were going to cut my legs out from under me there. You guys are both really, really nice.
Okay, how about 50-50?
Right. Well, he built a good website, but that ain't toys.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to get anyone's attention these days, but the fact of the matter is I think there's a lot of toy collectors who have a lot of love for the old stuff. When it comes to the new stuff, they're left wanting. They're like, well, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing it? It's always, why isn't it closer to how it was? Well, no, we're doing grounded now, right? That's the whole thing. We're doing grounded or new interpretations. Like just do the, not an exact rehash and copy, but the spirit, right? Just in the spirit of the old thing. And I think, Carson, that's what you've done here by putting the old team back together.
Well, and trying our best to stick to the old processes too, right? To try to make it happen in the way that it happened back in the day, and to be able to document it, to film with them, capture some of that on tape, to see Bill Merkline's hand, like assembling the epoxy, putting it on the figure, and using all the different handmade tools that he uses while he sculpts. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for people to see that stuff. And Mark, that's one of the reasons I really want to get down there and film with you, is I want to see you putting brush to paper. I want to document that for everybody out there to kind of see it, because we're in a digital age now, and you guys are masters of the analog. I'm sure, Mark, you're probably working in digital for comic books, but
I jump back and forth depending on.
Yeah, but what I really
so
wanted,
much easier. Like if you're doing comics or some illustrations, like I'm doing, it's just so much easier to color it in Photoshop. And I love painting. I absolutely love oil painting. But like I said, when you're coloring comics, you can do layers. I can use zip-a-tones, so I have to glue them down or cut them down. It's more of a convenience thing,
Mark, I don't know if you got to see, but I actually went in there. I took the 300 DPI scan of Doug Hart's Rotello painting, broke it into layers, cut it into pieces, color shifted everything, and created that Midnight Ops version of it. And I felt like a digital illustrator for a minute there. Like I'm kind of a jack of all trades, master of none, but there's a lot to be said for coloring digitally. You can shift the whole look of a piece. Once you've got it split into the different layers, you can shift the whole look of a piece within 5 minutes. It's amazing.
I know. That's what I love. That's what I like. I'm like, when I'm coloring my backgrounds, I really don't even care. I'm really just creating a mask layer.
Yeah.
And then once that's done, I can just click on it. It separates it for me, and I can just work on the background.
But it doesn't
change the tone of it or make it as light as I want. So that's so convenient,
From a timing perspective, I get it, and I've worked that way myself. But from a feeling of I'm sitting here creating and drawing, like it loses all of that for me. It's just me doing more digital stuff on the computer, and that's what I feel like I do all day anyway. So.
Dude, you just hit 400,000 US.
400.
Holy crap!
There we go. Okay, so
to go.
guys. Oh man, who is next? Who's after Night Raid? Where are we going next? For the Kickstarter backers, I'm sorry, I should know that. Oh my God, it's my buddies. Okay, so my buddy Joe, Mark, you actually met him, and Ron, you actually met him. Ron, you've met him several times, but Mark, I think you met him for the first time when we all went up and did the concept review, where we pulled the 177 concepts together and narrowed it down to 16. So this is the quartermaster guy. Now, Ron and Mark.
The guy's wife who looks like Starbuck.
She really does look like Starbuck, doesn't she?
That was your running gag for the night when we were at Applebee's or wherever we were at.
So, all right, full disclosure.
What was his name again?
That's Joe. Joe
Joe,
Goldston.
that's right.
Yeah, so I live in Southern Pines now, but I lived in Raleigh for 25 years, and he was 20 minutes down the road in Durham. And we first met in a parking lot. I bought a 12-inch Cobra Commander sideshow figure from him. So we met in the parking lot at my work. It looked sketchy as hell, I'm sure, like we were doing some drug deal.
Sounds
but
sketchy.
It was just plastic crack, So anyway, I think that was like 2008, 2009, maybe a little later. But we've become the best of friends. We go to all the conventions together. And he's been helping me, he helped me with the video shoot in Massachusetts and stuff. So this is exciting. I'm excited for him. If we hit 420, we will unlock supply chain. And Luna, who is a cheetah that he rescued when he was on a mission in South Africa, excuse me. So
10 minutes to go.
Yep.
Now, if I get, do I have his character?
Let me check out the graphic. No, this is a Ron Rudak character.
Oh, okay.
And I think the reason that we went with Ron for supply chain is Ron traditionally gravitates to the traditional military figures.
Yeah.
And so Ron, this is that quartermaster guy with the chains on his shoulders, supply chain, boom, and he's actually got a cheetah now. So you'll have to.
I was going to say what I was going to do is 2 sets of drawings. The ones to bust his chops, and then the real ones.
Right. So what was the question there? Are we going to have compatible figure peg holes? Yes, absolutely. There is no way that I want these figures to not be compatible with the vintage collections that we all already have.
Backpack holes the same too.
Backpack holes, grip sizes.
Awesome.
Yeah, I expect all that stuff to be consistent. I was pretty disappointed to hear that the new Megatron, his tank had a different peg size. And I guess maybe the new O-rings have a different foot hole size. I don't understand that decision. They were making 1 million copies of each figure in its prime in the mid 80s. They were making 1 million of each figure, right? So if you imagine that they made 480 something figures, maybe not 1 million a piece, but there's literally billions of these figures out there. Why would you not make stuff compatible now with the billions of figures that are already out there? That it defies reason. So yes, ours will fit the old pegs. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Sorry.
Another super chat from Matt. With the success in Operation Recall, how far?
Okay, let's put this
the
question
going in the future
to Ron and Mark. This is very much a question for you guys. I think when we talked at the meeting, we decided that a full year's worth of 17. It's now ballooned to 19 figures, but I think a full run of 19 figures is enough work for a year for you guys. Like I don't want to beat y'all up too bad. How do you feel about trying to squeeze more in, or would you like to delay it for a year or two? And
I'd say we wait like 2 months and see how the kind of pace we're going.
Yep.
And then take it from there, because I have no idea how fast I'm going to go through sculpture sheets, because those are a little time consuming. And then, the final marker rendering will probably only take me 2.5 days, 3 days. But then the illustration at the end, that'll probably take me at least a week. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how fast Ron is. The concept stuff I can get through pretty fast, but that stuff's going to slow me down tremendously.
I'm not fast at all. I'm pretty slow, and it's getting a chance to come up here in a studio without my wife bugging me to do something else.
Well, at least she knows that it's paying work, right? Like you've got a work queue, but that's not an excuse. You're in your retirement and we want you to enjoy it. So I don't ever want you to feel like this is ever anything that you dread doing. So,
okay. Ron, that's kind of why I got a studio away from the house.
You're in the studio and I'm in the house.
Yeah. That makes it more talented.
It got too much for me being at home. I had to get out.
Yeah. But so I think, okay, so how would you guys feel about committing to year 2? Do both of you feel like you're going to want to come back and do year 2 in another 12 months?
Yeah, I think so.
You cross that bridge
I'll
when you come to
do
it.
5 years. I don't care if it keeps going.
All right. I think it'll be extra incentive when these products get here and we're starting to deliver on product, and hell, man, we're all business owners that start to turn a profit on this thing. That's going to be amazing. You know, I've told everybody this. You guys are getting paid up front for your work, because I would never ask anybody to work for free, but we're all shared owners in this. We're all vested in this project. We've agreed to a percentage of profits. And so that's a beautiful thing for any creative. I've been in the creative field for 20 years, making video and animation products for mostly corporate clients, some higher ed and tech companies and stuff like that, banking. But I've never gotten royalties on anything, you know? So the idea that us as creatives getting to own something and making that residual passive revenue down the line, I think that's going to be really, really exciting for all of us.
Plus, you put your heart into it a little more when you're vested in it mentally.
Yeah.
Yep.
The big question is, who's playing Rotello in the movie?
You know, I've got a cosplayer that's already doing the costume, and he's been sending me photos. Yes, I swear to God,
awesome.
he's gonna come as Rotello at the next
pigeon?
JoeFest. It's amazing, dude. It's amazing.
Does he have Homer?
He's got a stuffed bird, but he wants to get a taxidermist that actually makes the wings out. Because for right now, the wings are down by his side. And he's like, well, that doesn't look like Homer. I need one with the wings out. So he's going all in. So cool. I love it, dude. I love it. It's amazing.
I'm excited to see if the finest start putting pictures of Operation Recall characters.
You should go for an animatronic bird.
Right? Oh, like the owl from Clash of the Titans. I love that.
Exactly. No. I mean, like a real bird, but underneath it, so he can
animate
pull a few strings and make it turn a head or something.
We got 5 minutes left on the Kickstarter, and we're at about 406,000 US.
That's amazing.
I'm going to be honest, guys. I didn't think that this would beat the book. You know, I felt like it was going to be a success if we did half the line. Incredible. If we got through 2 waves, I was going to be happy. We're going to do all 4 waves. There's not a doubt in my mind. You know, it's incredible. So strap up.
To all the people who back this, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and I will work my butt off, I promise.
Well, as a backer myself, don't have fun, because that's what the idea was born out of.
I love working. I love working, man. I
don't stress out.
I've told everybody this. I'm like, my dad drove a truck and my mother worked in factories.
Yeah.
I love coming here, man. I love working. I work every day. It didn't make me crazy. I have to take a couple days off, but
it's awesome, man.
We've got
officially.
I really enjoy it, and I'm still doing it at my age. You would think I'd be retired and I'd be at the beach or something, but no, I'm here. I'm still doing the work. Either it's fine art work or I'm doing Joe's.
You're still kicking butt, man.
Hell yeah. He said you're still kicking butt, and I agree 100% because
I really tried.
You're doing it, man. Every concept that I've seen you work on for Operation Recall, you've already made it infinitely better. So, keep it up. Do it at your leisure. Don't beat yourself up too bad about it. Do it at the pace that's right for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do want you guys to know there are 1,200 people that have your back. There's 1,200 people that are throwing money at this project because they believe in you and me and the whole team delivering, and we will. Yeah. It'll be awesome. So I just want to thank you guys again for putting your faith in me, trusting me, and letting me kind of spearhead this thing.
You think we'll have something by JoeFest?
Product in hand, no, but we can definitely have a panel and show all the pre-production stuff that's leading up to it, and we might have like some 3D cast and maybe some hand paint, like the stuff we have for Rotello right now. Yeah. I would love to at least be at that phase with multiple figures by JoeFest.
Yeah.
We definitely won't have manufactured product in hand.
I think they moved the date up too.
Okay. Yeah. No, manufactured product in hand is not going to be until closer to December. So of next year.
We got 2 minutes to go. We're at 4:10. You think we'll hit 10,000 in 2 minutes?
I'm just blown away. I really wanted to hit 1,000 backers, and how the heck did we get to 1,200? It's people are coming out of the woodwork last minute, getting fired up and jumping in, and thank you guys for jumping off the fence. And I've been using military terminology wherever I can. Thank you for enlisting for Operation Recall.
What a great name, too. When you revealed the news on the chat here with Jay Bartlett, everyone check out Jay Bartlett's YouTube channel, by the way. we were stunned. It wasn't just, oh, cool, that sounds like fun, another toy to collect. We were really moved by it, just the concept, everything behind it. And when we saw Ratello, it's like I called him the Last Joe. I'm like, that's him. That's the Last Joe. And luckily, there's a lot more now after him. But he kind of kicked the door that's been closed, sealed for 40 years, going, no, there's still gas in the tank, guys.
There's absolutely gas in the tank. These guys are still capable.
A little bit.
You got it. You got it.
Fumes can get you pretty far.
I tell everybody my love language is words of affirmation. So all I need is people telling me, "Hey, man, good job, keep going," and trust me, I'll keep going. I will keep
Great job,
working
man.
for you guys.
Great job.
You know?
Keep going.
So
We got 1 minute left.
and we got 411. I just, it's insane. It's insane. We might hit my buddy's figure, which would be crazy. If we unlock Joe's figure for like the grand finale, that would be amazing.
Sorry, it's in Canadian here. I tried to change.
No, you're cool. You're cool.
Currency
No
to
worries at all.
American, but
34 seconds, 412. Let's
I guess
go,
the conversion
Joe.
here isn't accurate.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Joe is at
Good
420. I'm gonna try my screen share. Hold up. Share. Screen share. There we go. Share. Hopefully you guys can see mine. Oh, okay. There we go. 10 seconds. Oh my God, we needed 420. We're only at 412. Come on, people. Okay. That's so close, Joe. Oh my goodness, Joe. we came up short $5,300 and what, $84. My mom was a math teacher. So, all right. Shout out to Joe. We're gonna get supply chain. Don't you worry. We're going to Backer Kid after this. This game is not over. We will unlock supply chain at 420. And after that, guys, we've only got 3 figures. That's it. 3 figures to fund. We're not looking at an insurmountable mountain of funding here. We literally just need to fund 3 figures. The 4th figure is a bonus. The big bad guy's a bonus figure. So come on, guys. Still share it. Still tell everybody about it. Keep submitting artwork. Keep submitting music. That was amazing. Hopefully you guys saw the music video.
Oh, yeah.
That was some, man, he's been sending that to me for weeks, but he was like polishing it because he's an artist and he wants it to be perfect. And this guy's from New Zealand, and so he would send me voice messages and he sounded like a New Zealander, but I never understood it. Then you listen to rock music by them and it just sounds like American English, you know? So it was amazing listening to his process as he refined it, and because he was doing it at home first and then he went into the studio and worked on it. It's just been, from the artwork that people have been sending in to the music to the, the storyline that my buddy Joe's working on, there's just been so much good energy and creativity that everybody's been putting into it. So thank you guys, the community out there. Thank you guys for not only backing it, but putting your own creativity into it, because that's made it alive.
Yep.
So what's been your favorite piece that you guys have seen from the crowd? Because I know you've seen a lot of drawings.
From the people? From the community,
yeah. The stuff that I share in the updates.
My
and that goes out.
piece, man, I don't know. I got to think about it in a little while.
Did you guys see the Great White one? It's the big underwater enemy trooper guy by, I think it's Waltman.
The shark?
Yeah. This thing, I swear, he's got a Mike Magnolia style to him. I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
I thought he kind of looked like Target.
Give me just 1 second.
Iron Grenadiers.
Promos, fan art. Let's see. Jeremy Waltman. Yeah, so he did a couple pieces. And, I'm a fan of everything that's been sent in, and I've shared almost all of it already. And I do think we should save a little portion of the book for the backer submissions because they have been very impressive. Let me pull up the screen share real quick. Share screen. So I just want to say and take this moment in this live stream to show you guys just a couple pieces. Cool. Right? Have you guys seen that one?
Yep.
He is awesome.
Just
such
when you
a cool
thought it was
illustration.
safe to go back on Kickstarter.
And then check one of these out. Remember that logo from Cadaver? He's got 4 or 5 little indicators.
Cool.
He's got 5 little indicators on his chest, and I think that means that he's killed that many of the good guys. what else could it mean? It's kind of like battle
Well,
markings on a plane.
Might have put him in the hospital.
Yeah. Well, he speared him. He impaled him. So the storyline that we're working
cool.
on,
Love
spoiler
these guys.
alert. So this is Clanker and Tank, his version of it, because there was a little medical device of some sort on the original submission. So he kind of took that forward and played with it. But this makes Clanker and Tank the kind of medical unit, which I thought
Tanker
was
is a stretcher, basically.
Yeah, exactly. You could just lay a guy on it, and Tank would walk you out of there.
Eventually,
But
I mean, it's a smooth ride.
there's really, I wouldn't say there's countless, but there's dozens and dozens of images like that people have sent in to me along the way. So I think we'll include that. I'll stop my screen share, but we'll include that as a section.
Oops.
Oh, we lose Ron?
Oh,
Oh, there he is.
There we
Okay,
go.
he's back. He just jumped around. But we'll include a section of art that came from the backers in the book because I think it was such a big part of this campaign. So, Mark, Ron, thank you guys for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Yep.
Cool.
In the
Thank
mail
you,
tomorrow.
guys.
Thank you guys for your continued work on developing these people's concepts. I know it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun for them over the next few months.
I'll get this off to you this week sometime.
All right, so Ron is working on Lilith now, and then Ron, we're going to double back to Wave 1, and we're just going to work through them chronologically going forward so that when you guys finish Waves 1 and 2, Kirk and I will do the review and kick them back, and you guys can be working on 3 and 4. We'll kind of get it in a little stratification, but I'll check in with you guys.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Thanks.
Michael,
Thanks, guys,
All right.
for what you're doing, and thanks for what you did. You
Midnight Ops Mike, man, we appreciate
You're
you having
welcome,
us
Mike.
on.
Thank you, Mike.
inspired so much creativity
Thanks, Mike.
in so many people in
Mike,
their youth
where-
that's
Where are,
carried out.
where are you in Canada?
A little bit outside of Toronto, but isn't everybody?
Yeah, I've been up there.
You doing conventions up there at all, Ron?
I did a convention up there years ago in Toronto with the Canadian G.I. Joe Club.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that. They used to do exclusives. I remember that club.
Yeah.
Do you guys, so Ron and Mark, do you guys have any conventions coming up shortly that people can come meet you?
No,
No,
I'm free for the rest of the year.
Okay, well, sweet. You got some figures to work on.
Yeah, I'm done for the year too.
Awesome. That sounds good, man. Well, we will be diving in on Operation Recall. Thank you to how many backers? We had 1,223 backers.
Nice.
So, thank you, guys.
Amazing.
Thank you.
I gotta change that graphic. It's over.
Now comes the fun part. Mr. Rudat, Mr. Pennington, it's been a pleasure talking to you tonight. Great meeting you. Carson, as always, fantastic time talking to you. And everyone in the chat, thank you so much for joining us tonight. The comments were just flying by more than I've ever seen on a live stream on this channel. Wish I could get to them all, but thanks for hanging out with us. And
Yeah, I missed a couple questions. Sorry.
I'll go back through and watch it, and I'll answer any questions that I can answer. But yeah, thank you all for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. When you're doing one of these live streams, it's hard to be talking and reading questions, so I know we missed some.
well, let me know if you want to do it again, and we'll hop back on and answer questions because people got questions, and
I
it's
do
nice
Q&A.
yeah, it's nice to just be have some reassurance of what's going on.
Sweet.
Great.
All right, thanks everyone. Do you have like a battle cry for Operation Recall since we can't use the one that everyone? liked?
Yeah. So I mean, and I've had text messages with Kirk and Ron and Mark where I'm trying to hammer this out, and I think Back the Attack was a cool one for the Kickstarter campaign, and I think since we're going to backer kit, it still makes sense to Back the Attack because what we're doing is reigniting the toy wars. We're trying to put some original toy designs back out there instead of rehashing the same stuff again and again. So the idea is we're bringing in the veterans, we're recalling the veterans to really reignite the toy wars. So I think Back the Attack makes a lot of sense. Do you guys have
I like
another one that you like better?
No, that sounds like a Kurt thing to me.
Yeah,
What
that's
about-
probably why Kirk. I've seen Kirk post it a couple times too, so he definitely latched on to it.
Ooh, you're gonna recall.
I can see Kurt yelling it out. Back the attack!
Back the Attack. That's an order. No doubt. So I think I was also going. It's go time. I've said that a lot. And let's roll, because that flight, those heroes on that flight, we won't get into it, but let's roll was a big thing for me. I kind of wanted to make that the battle cry of the guys, like maybe in the book or in the cartoon, as a tribute to those heroes. So maybe let's roll will work its way into it. But for right now, while we're seeking funding and funding these last 3 figures, I think Back the Attack is the right thing.
Yeah.
So
Alrighty, Back the Attack. Thanks everyone for back.
yes,
Thanks
all
for watching.
1,200 plus of you. Thank you so much.
God bless y'all, man.
All
Have
right,
a great
Ron,
night, everyone.
Mark, thank you guys.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
See you, everyone.
Bye.
Heard mistake.